What's up, Sag? Welcome to your August 2020 Creativity Tarot reading. My name is Kaylee Jean, and welcome to my channel. I record these readings for artists, entrepreneurs, and anyone who's interested in their personal growth, spirituality, or just anything related to your creative self-expression in any way. So if those areas of life are intriguing for you right now, I encourage you to go ahead and keep listening. I also like to say, for anybody that's new here, you can use these readings for your sun, moon, or your rising sign, and in fact, sometimes it's useful to listen to all three and just see kind of what resonates and makes the most sense for you. Also, it may not resonate just because these are general readings, so they're not guaranteed to fit you each individual person. I'm just tuning into the energies that I have access to. All right, so Sagittarius, let's get into your messages from the channeling meditation that I did. I was shown a golden scarab beetle, which is a symbol of rebirth and luck. So I don't know what is going on in your life, but while I was kind of in the meditative state, I was seeing the golden beetle, and then I was also seeing like a sunrise in the background. So it feels to me like there's some kind of powerful fresh start happening in your life, and I do feel like it is blessed. There may be periods of time, like for example, with the symbolism of, dawn happening, you may experience times of, darkness, like at night. There's a sense of periodic cycles of maybe a lack of clarity or a lack of awareness of exactly what feels right for you, but the sun always rises again. So this is a very spiritual way of looking at astronomical phenomena that it has very ancient roots, but it's basically about like almost like the Wheel of Fortune card. It's the cycles of life, and sometimes you're underneath the earth, or sometimes you're underneath the earth, like on the opposite side from the sun, so you see the night sky, and sometimes you're on the side of the earth that's facing the sun, and so you get that bright light of day. And there's a sense of just this kind of rotating and rhythmic pattern type of energy that I'm getting for you, that has a lot to do with kind of just trusting your path and going with the flow, and not worrying if you find yourself at any point this month feeling that uncertainty perhaps about choices you have to make. You might be in the little night phase, for a little bit, and then you're going to have a day phase, and you're going to have that clarity, and that's just going to be a continuous thing on an inner level for you with regards to your growth and your decision making. So, I do feel like some of you have a pretty important choice coming up as well. Like you might be choosing between something that feels safe and traditional, and almost like nurturing and a little bit more easy. But then there's also like some other options that have other values to them for you. So you might be considering doing something a little bit more outside of the box in some way. And that might come with some risks, that you're really trying to kind of weigh. So we'll get some more information on that. Well, let's take a look at your cards. Sagittarius. Oh, and I'm actually going to pull your Spirit Oracle cards. Sorry if you guys can hear my dog. She's snoring. She just really wanted to be in here today. All right. So we've got the mouse as your path, and the bee as the influence, which can also be a little bit of an obstacle as well. So it's like a hurdle to overcome, but it can also be a lesson you're learning or an influence in your life, and mouse is the path. So one of the things that really stands out to me is like the minusculeness of both of these creatures. Mouse is one of the smaller mammals that we have on the planet, and bee, of course, is an insect, so it's a very small creature. So there's something here about like feeling, I don't know if you feel in some ways like a little bit of questioning like the significance somehow of what you do. I think there's definitely some themes that can have to do with that. When you get to smaller critters coming up in your animal spirit oracle cards, you might be looking at like what you're doing and being like, well, you know, am I really making that big of an impact? Or is this really worth my time? Or you might be thinking in some ways that your voice doesn't matter, or that you don't deserve to say something, or you don't deserve to put something out there. Like maybe you just feel a little bit hesitant or a little bit insignificant in some way. That's not usually the energy that I get from Sagittarians, but this could come up from time to time in all of our lives. So it's natural that, you know, this could be coming up for you in some way. The mouse card, though, I feel like it's like something to celebrate. I think maybe there's a perspective shift that we see with this card, because whatever makes you feel, I guess, insignificant or small or not doing enough or not having enough, or just whatever makes you feel kind of small in that way, you can also look at that as a really good thing. There's a way to kind of zoom out and look at like the vastly bigger picture, and suddenly your cares and worries that you normally have in your day-to-day life seem also very insignificant. And that can feel really good. That can feel really good to kind of just accept that. There's like a line from a song that I don't remember who sings it, but it's like recognizing that you're just a speck of dust in a giant's eye, or something. Like you're just this tiny little like fluff in a massive universe, and that's actually not a bad thing. It's like then you can just be that little fluff that's going along, you know, the breeze and just enjoying your little flow. So that's one thing that I could kind of see being like a reframe that actually can work for you instead of against you, where you just embrace the position that you're in the universe and the role that you play and the experiences that you have, you know, are so valid and so important because you're here. You know, you are a facet of the multifaceted universal consciousness, and you're here for a reason. So we wouldn't be the same without you. We just really wouldn't. Especially not without Sagittarians, man. You guys, like, you really inspire us. Speaking for the rest of the signs, you inspire us and make us realize what's possible for us. You know, you are a role model type of sign in that way. And you're always looking for, like, you're reaching for the good all the time. That's something I can say about all of my Sagittarian friends and connections that I have in my family, is that you're always looking for the best in a situation. And so that's often what you find, and that's why people generally really enjoy being around you, because you have that kind of natural connection to source energy, which is purely positive. So many Sagittarians, you have that. Now, the B card as the influence or the obstacle could show that maybe you're having some of these realizations, but you also really have to keep up with your work life. And you're really thinking about the role that you play in the world and trying to kind of restructure that in a way that feels right for you at this time in your life, while you have to continue to maintain your normal maintenance and routine. So that can be a challenge, kind of balancing like where you're working on your life, like looking at it from above and trying to think like, okay, what would be better for me here and how can I change that? That's a totally different level of work than the day-to-day maintenance of working in your life. Right? Like we talk about that with business, working in your business versus working on your business. It's coming at it from two different perspectives. It's coming at it, one is from above and one is from within. And they both are important. So you're going to have to find a way to kind of balance that. And I want to recommend maybe like some visualization or making a vision board or just writing out a journal entry at some point in August about things that you visualize for yourself in the future. And really like tapping into that vision is going to be predictive in some ways for you, Sagittarius. So definitely keep that in mind. Now let's take a look. We've got Five of Wands with the Nine of Pentacles. We've got the Fool and the Seven of Cups. We've got the King of Cups and the Sun. We've got Six of Wands and Six of Cups. Beautiful. Such beautiful energy. So I'm going to get some water. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so the first week of August, we have the Five of Wands with the Nine of Pentacles. So there could be, for some of you, if you have your own business, there could be some conflicts around that business, or you could be dealing with, like, let's say if you are a life coach, or if you have clients and you work with them regularly, this card could be indicating that you may be dealing with, at this time, a little bit of pushback somehow from a client or a customer, or you might find, you know, that there's a little bit of a general spirit of contentiousness in some way in regards to your business. And it could also be in a workplace situation as well. Some of you could be experiencing that when it comes to your professional life. But I also feel like if you stay rooted and grounded and, you know, compassionate in your ability to just listen and hear people out and then respond from a grounded, centered place, I think this is absolutely going to pass. You know, for you, the Aquarius full moon that's happening on August 3rd is symbolically in your third house. So it really is talking about like because third house is about communications. It's also about, it can be about like your siblings or peers in some ways, and it can also be about like online communications as well. So there could be just some dissent among the ranks of, you know, whatever social groups you're part of, or even with a family member. But I do think that, like, because it's a full moon that's happening there, full moons represent like a resolution or a completion. So there is a completion of some kind of phase of your life that has to do with how you communicate with your peers and how you get your message across in the world. So there is this kind of full circle, you know, that you're coming to. The second week of August, we have the Fool card with the Seven of Cups. So this is interesting because you might feel a little bit ungrounded in the second week of August. You may feel kind of like you're just considering a lot of options, and you're maybe a little bit open to multiple things. And so that could be something that's causing a little bit of, what do I want to say? Like a little bit of uncertainty in general. And, you know, it can be partly a result of looking at things from such an open perspective, which many Sagittarians, especially if you have a lot in Sagittarius, or if you have, you know, just a strong Sagittarius personality, you can tend to see like such a big picture of the world that narrowing in on things can sometimes be, it can take you a little longer. And Pisces has this issue as well, in my experience, with, you know, people who have strong Pisces energy, because it's Jupiter. It's not even about you. It's just the planetary vibration and the resonance of Jupiter. If you have a strong Jupiterian signature in your chart, you vibrate at this very broad level, right? And that's a really beautiful thing. But sometimes when you're trying to narrow your focus, it's more difficult because you see so many ways that things actually could work, and you see so many possible solutions that genuinely do resonate with you, and because you're working on, again, such a high level. So I think it's important to explore many options in the second week of August, but don't feel like you have to take action on anything in the second week of August, let yourself really do your research. That's going to be my advice, is do your research, figure things out, make lists. Don't let yourself get overwhelmed by all the choices or the potentials. It's important for you to just kind of assess right now. I think that's the best way to put it. The third week of August, we have the King of Cups and the Sun. So this could be the appearance of a positive energy coming from a man, or maybe not necessarily a man. I mean, this is a king, so more than 50% of the time I would say it's a man, but it could also be a female energy as well, because this is general reading. But it could be a man, water sign person, Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancer. And there's the sun energy. So this could be somebody who has a sun, or who works around something having to do with child care even, which is like interesting. That's very specific. But it could also be somebody who is very bright and sort of able to communicate very clearly and directly, right? The interesting thing is that this is the same week on August 18th, which is part of the third week of the month. You are going to have a new moon in Leo at the very end of Leo. So it's pretty exciting, because what this seems to be saying, because the sun itself is a Leonine, obviously planet or planetary body, luminary. The sun and Leo are basically the same thing. They are one. So again, there could be Leo energy as well. It could be somebody with Leo and Scorpio vibes. But there's a sense of something kind of being able to come together with somebody who's being optimistic, being direct, being honest, maybe offering you an opportunity if this is like a work thing. So opportunities potentially coming in around a King of Cups type of individual in the third week of August. And this does feel like it could be a very blessed new beginning for you. And it could be part of what you're going to be seeing eventually in your next chapter of your life. And this would also symbolically, this new moon in Leo is going to be happening in your 9th house, symbolically in terms of the relationship between Sagittarius and Leo. So the fact that you're going to have this energy symbolically in your 9th house also kind of shows me that this is about something spiritual. You know, perhaps it's something that expands your reality. It's something that maybe inspires you to take new actions that you haven't taken before. Could also have to do with some form of education as well. Now, by the end of August, we have 2 sixes, which are a number of harmony and harmonization, which is super nice to see. With the 6 of Wands, for me, this is a victory card, and the 6 of Cups is really about appreciating relationships and appreciating the way that we connect with people that we value and feeling safe in relationships, because this is such an environment of safety. Like, I see the buildings around the perimeter, and I almost see these kids kind of interacting within a walled garden, which is a biblical reference to the state of paradise, right? A paradisical state of being where you don't have to worry about any snakes, right? Because the walls have been built to keep the snakes out. So you have this, you know, symbolical representation of like a situation that feels very safe, where you can be yourself, where you can run barefoot through the grass and you don't have to worry about anything. And so that's a vibration. That's an inner vibration. I'm not saying that any outer place in reality ever actually is that way, because you know, you're working with physical reality. It's different. But there's a vibration of the kingdom within, Sagittarius. There's a vibration of the kingdom within. And the kingdom within is that inner paradise of personal truth. It is that inner paradise of backing yourself up, you know, and being able to resonate. Like, even with my hand here, hearing the sound of my voice, and just if you put your hand to your chest right now and say something, just say anything, you can feel that resonance, right? You can feel that magical resonance. That's your physical body's etheric power, which is connected to your soul's consciousness, which is intertwined in your etheric body and your physical body. So the inner kingdom or the inner paradise is being able to just be in alignment with that, whatever that feels like to you and whatever that truth represents. Symbolically, it's about not needing to fear anything because you're connected with your infinite self. You're connected with your highest self, which knows no boundaries, never stops, never ends, never dies, never wants for anything but experience. So you're fully connected to that, and that is the state of the inner kingdom. It's the inner kingdom of truth. So when we have a victory here with the Six of Wands, and then we have this energy of reciprocity and safety and a feeling of paradise, or a feeling at least of relative safety and appreciation, I almost kind of wonder if there isn't some kind of situation in your outer life that is feeling that way to you, and you're just really appreciating it. Like maybe your garden is just going off the charts. Maybe you've got the biggest zucchinis you've ever had, and maybe you've got big flowers and whatever. Or maybe it's your business is flourishing, or your relationship with your children is flourishing, and you're just feeling that energy of like appreciation for the work that you've done in the past to set up that beautiful structure. And again, it can also be an inner thing. It doesn't have to be an outer thing. It can also be about your inner state of being. So the month ends on a very high note. It ends on a vibrationally very secure note for you. And I really feel like the first half of the month is really where you're dealing with a little bit of dissent or conflict, and maybe trying to figure out your best way of kind of going about it. And you're also making some pretty big decisions. So just take it easy in the first couple weeks of the month, and don't build anything up to be a bigger deal than it needs to be, because it will pass and it will all be fine. So you got Find Freedom on this canvas from Bob Ross. So beautiful. And again, like that really speaks to that inner freedom, you know, the inner kingdom of sovereignty that we get with these cards is so great. Wanted to get you one last message from the Destiny Oracle. You got Delight. Oh, I love this little sparrow. And now as I'm looking at this, I feel somebody has a bird that looks like this. And I feel like this is a message, you know, that bird around your house. I don't know if you guys just heard that, but I just heard a bird chirp. That was so weird. It might not have picked up on my microphone, but that is so, so pretty. Yeah, I feel like this is a message. It's like you're going to be getting messages through little birds, like songbirds and sparrows. I love it. Delight. Take delight in the little things, Sagittarius. That is your job this month. All right, thank you so much for being here, Sag. I'm sending you so much love. Please take care of yourselves and stay safe. If you'd like to say thank you and you enjoyed this reading, you can always give this video a thumbs up. You can leave a comment below, maybe with a little fire emoji, or just write fire, or tell me about the birds if you have some birds who are kind of giving you some cool messages, or if you have synchronicities with little birds like that. I know I definitely do get messages from them pretty constantly. So if you want to share any magical experiences with us, we would absolutely love to hear from you. This is a safe space, and I want everybody to be able to just have fun and acknowledge synchronicity in their lives as well. Sending you so much love, Sag. Take care of yourselves, and I will talk to you next time.